Waterbury, CT, 3 charged in connection with fatal Easton Avenue shooting. When multiple people are charged in a single homicide case, it often means investigators believe there was a group dynamic. A primary shooter plus others who assisted, escalated the conflict, or contributed to violence before or after the shot. Waterbury police say 3 people have been arrested in connection with a fatal shooting that happened on Easton Avenue earlier this month. The victim, 20-year-old Daniel Pert of Hartford, was found shot in the head and pronounced dead at the scene, according to reporting. Reporting says police arrested 2 young men, Lucas Henry, 19, and Tyquise Kinnell, 18, and a third suspect, Saron McKenna, 17, who was transferred from juvenile court to adult court in connection with the case. The charges vary by defendant, with McKenna facing murder and weapons-related counts among other charges. The age range here matters because it often shapes how the investigation is presented and prosecuted. Cases involving minors transferred to adult court typically reflect the seriousness of charges and the prosecution's view of public safety risk. Investigators often build cases like this from 3 primary pillars: timeline, participants, and weapon linkage. The timeline is established through calls for service, witness statements, and camera footage. The participant list is built from social networks, prior contacts, and direct evidence like video and digital communications. Weapon linkage comes from ballistics and recovered firearms. In a fatal shooting with multiple arrests, detectives typically work to separate roles. One person may be accused of firing the fatal shot, while others may be charged based on actions that supported or escalated the violence: driving, providing the weapon, or participating in the confrontation. Reporting indicates Henry and Kinnell face charges including first-degree assault counts and breach of peace, while McKenna faces murder and multiple firearm-related allegations. Bond levels also reflect severity. McKenna held on $3 million bond per the report, with the others held on lower but still substantial bonds. The court process now becomes the public-facing stage. Prosecutors must decide how to present the narrative: what led to the encounter, what evidence ties each suspect to the scene, and whether there are statements, videos, or forensic details that show intent. What does it mean when a juvenile is transferred to adult court in a murder case?
It signals that prosecutors believe the conduct and risk level are serious enough to warrant adult prosecution and adult sentencing exposure.
Another key factor is whether investigators believe the shooting was targeted. A headshot fatality often prompts heightened scrutiny because it can suggest close-range firing or a direct intent to kill. Investigators will use scene evidence and witness accounts to clarify distance, positioning, and the shooter's movement. The report's details on charges imply there may have been violence beyond the fatal gunshot. Assault charges can reflect injuries to additional people, attempted harm, or actions during the confrontation. For the victim's family, court updates often feel like small steps in a long process. Arrest can bring relief, but they also start a new phase: hearings, motions, discovery, and potentially months or years before trial resolution. For the community, multi-defendant cases often raise concerns about group violence patterns. That's why police departments tend to emphasize public cooperation. Even with arrests, investigators may still be looking for additional witnesses, additional suspects, or a firearm. What comes next is the legal machinery: arraignments, bond hearings, and early motions. That's usually when the public learns more about motive and the evidence tying each person to the crime. What to watch: prosecutors' narrative in court filings, any recovery or confirmation of the weapon used, whether additional arrests or charges are announced. 3 defendants, 2 adults and 1 teen now in adult court, face serious charges after a fatal Waterbury shooting, and the case now moves from investigation into the court timeline.